Verifying the count of unique elements. After merging arrays, after applying the union function, we want to confirm how many unique elements remain in the merged array. This is particularly important when testing scenarios where an object has been slightly modified, such as removing a property, causing Power Automate to treat it as a separate entity rather than a duplicate. Initially, we have Array 1 with 10 elements, Array 2 with 3 elements, but one of them is an altered version of an object already present in Array 1, for example ID, one with a missing name property. Since Power Automate's union function checks objects for exact equality, the modified version of ID1 will be treated as a completely new object rather than a duplicate. This means that the final array will contain 13 elements, one extra due to the altered ID, one object being treated separately. To confirm this behavior, we introduce a compose action immediately after the union arrays step. Add a compose action to count elements. Create a new compose action and name it Count Merged Array Elements to follow best practices for clear and meaningful action names. Inside this compose action, use the following expression: length, outputs, union arrays. Outputs, union arrays, retrieves the output from the previous step, which contains the merged array. Length counts the number of elements in that array and returns the total. Running the test and interpreting results. Expected outcome of the test run. Before merging, Array 1 has 10 elements, Array 2 has 3 elements, including an altered version of ID, 1. After applying union, the altered ID, 1 is treated as a new object. The resulting array has 13 unique elements. The compose action, Count Merged Array Elements, should return 13. Best practices for using length to count elements in Power Automate. The length function in Power Automate is a powerful tool for counting elements in arrays. However, its usage should be carefully considered depending on the context of your flow. Here are the best practices for when and how to use it effectively. Validating input data before processing. Before iterating over an array or performing operations such as filtering or sorting, use length to check whether the array contains elements. This prevents unnecessary loops or errors due to empty arrays. Verifying the results of array operations. When using functions like union, intersection, filter, or sort, count the array before and after processing to ensure expected results. Controlling loop executions dynamically. If you're using a for each loop, you may want to iterate only if the array contains elements. Instead of running the loop blindly, set up a condition using length to execute it only when necessary. Ensuring API responses contain data. When working with APIs that return lists, such as SharePoint, Dataverse, or external REST APIs, always check the length of the response array before processing. Some APIs return empty arrays instead of null, and using length helps handle these cases gracefully. Debugging and logging in flow runs. When troubleshooting or monitoring flow executions, logging array lengths at different stages can help diagnose issues. Use length within compose actions to track array sizes at key points. When to avoid using length. Unnecessarily. Avoid excessive calls to length. Within loops. If you're looping through an array, store its length in a variable instead of recalculating it in each iteration. Do not use length on non-array objects. Ensure the function is applied to an actual array to prevent errors. Be mindful of performance. If you're working with large datasets, calling length multiple times may slow down execution. By following these best practices, length can be used effectively to optimize flow performance, improve reliability, and ensure correct processing of data.